when I was looking for a Wii on Facebook Marketplace and someone had listed it as retro Nintendo console. I'm 26, I should not be feeling that old reading that f***ing sentence. Hello and welcome to a video about my CRT setup. Probably first question you're gonna ask is, Josh, why the f*** do you have a CRT? I won't lie, it's for the aesthetic. I put it in my last video because I just had an idea and I was like, yes, we're gonna do that. Probably an important thing to note, actually, I have zero nostalgia for CRTs. I didn't really grow up with them. Like, we had one up until I think around the age of 5 or 6. And then we had a plasma TV after that, which shares some traits with CRTs in like a textural experience way. The image quality feels very similar, but that's also a flat panel. It tended to overheat a lot. To the point that when it did die, it went up in a puff of magical blue smoke, which if you've messed around with electronics, you know that's the bad stuff. But yeah, so I don't really have a lot of nostalgia for CRTs. I just thought it would be a very cool thing to add to my collection of weird technology. But given that I now had acquired a CRT for the vibe, I figured I should probably actually use it. And so the first thing that came to mind was pretty obvious, picking up some nostalgic gaming, which for me, I had a Wii growing up. So I went and got a Wii. But before we get into that, how much did this whole setup cost? Going through the list, the CRT itself, I looked at a few on eBay, looked around in general for a bit, and it was looking like 200 bucks. I was like, it's a bit steep. So I went on Facebook and there was a guy like 5 kilometers down the road from me selling this thing for 20 bucks. I love Facebook Marketplace, man. But something that Facebook Marketplace, at least here in Australia, not good for, people selling their Nintendo Wiis, where pretty consistently over 100 bucks. Don't do that. Go to Cashies, get yourself a $60 to $70 Wii that's probably in better condition than the ones that people are listing on Marketplace for more money. So my Wii was 65 bucks. Pretty good. But this being a 30-inch CRT is gigantic and kinda really heavy. So originally I had it sitting on my kitchen table, which is where you see it in the video that I used it in. I didn't have anywhere else to put it. Like, I've got a table in my office, but I was like, I don't actually trust that to carry the weight of this. I'm gonna guess probably about 60 kilos. It's heavy as fuck. I nearly dropped it getting it up the stairs. And so I was like, okay, how am I gonna keep this? If I wanna use it in videos and stuff, it's gonna be a bitch to move. What's the best option? And you check out this video by RetroRGB, which is kind of the inspiration for this whole setup, where he talks through setting up carts like this. So I got this, meant to be like a kitchen cart, where they got all the serving trays and stuff on it. But I got it from Amazon for 60 bucks. I was like a little bit skeptical because they listed, I think it was like 120 kilos. Is it 120 split over all of these shelves, or is it 120 per shelf? It wasn't very helpful, but it's been set up like this for like a month and a half now, and it hasn't collapsed. So I think it's fine. And then you'll also notice we got the premium audio setup. And by premium, I mean, I found those speakers on the side of the road like 2.5 years ago, and they've been sitting in my cupboard, and I finally found an occasion to use them. So I bought the amp that's sitting under the Wii. That was 50 bucks, I think, because they used speaker wire, so you gotta wire them up to an actual amp. And you know what? They sound pretty damn good for speakers I found on the side of the road. Pretty happy with that. And then you can also see on the top over here, I have a Roku. I did have my laptop hook up to it when I first started using it, but like, it was kind of awkward to like cram the laptop in there, and then just much easier way to use this. It's nice to have a little TV I can just roll around wherever. All up, not including the Roku, it's about 250 Australian dollars, which I think is like 130-ish American freedom dollars. And if you include the Roku, which you don't need, if you got a laptop lying around or something like that, that's probably gonna do the job. That was another 60 bucks, I think. So Comes up to about 300 bucks all up for the whole setup. And I think that's pretty damn good. I've been very happy with it. I have like some minor issues though, one of which we can actually demonstrate by turning on the amplifier. I'm not sure how much this will actually show up on camera. I'll get another angle of it once I'm done talking. But it does get some interference on the video signal when I've got the amp turned on. And that is relatively common when you have your audio and video stuff on the same circuit. I was kind of bothered by it when I was watching the movie the other night. The first couple of minutes, they're like 15 minutes in, and it kind of just fades into the background. So it's not that big of a deal. Interestingly, when I have the Wii powered on, and that's the video output, it doesn't get this static. It's only with everything else I've tried, basically. If I have my Switch plugged into the HDMI adapter, or my laptop, or the Roku. So I'm thinking the issue might be the little adapter that I've got in combination with everything else. So I'll do some troubleshooting, figure it out, but honestly, it's not that big of an issue. I don't mind it that much. Definitely do want to buy a better HDMI to composite adapter at some point, because this is a cheapo, like $10 one. And you know what? It works fine. But I do want to get a proper HDMI to composite adapter that has like scaling options and stuff. But those are a little bit expensive, so that'll be a future thing. The only other bits and pieces I've bought have been controllers, like this GameCube Wavebird style controller. Get the ad out of here. No, man, they're getting very aggressive with the unskippable ads. Is it like this on all smart TVs? Like they're really heavy with the ads? Because like I don't use the YouTube app on my TV because I've got a computer. But this seems like egregious skip. Well, without dropping it. These two, which was 50 Australian dollars for the two of them, which I think is pretty good. And damn, they feel really good. They feel very close to actual GameCube controllers, which I do have sitting in my little controller box down here. My Smash Ultimate one with button this up. I need to replace the button pad in this one, which I have bought a replacement for. The pad's had a rough life. It's gone through it, but I wanted some wireless ones, particularly like if I'm sitting in bed and playing GameCube games. I don't want this long ass cable for Tapioca, wherever she is, to get tangled in. One of the reasons that I bought these GameCube controllers specifically, instead of like, you know, an 8-bit do one or something like that, is they come with actual GameCube wireless adapters. So I can use them on the Wii. That's not that hard to find. There are plenty of those. These are the only ones that I found that also, you can see it's got the Switch button layout, because they come with a little USB wireless adapter to use up the Switch as well. I have used it on both the Wii and my Switch. Fucking great. I highly recommend these. I can't even like tell you what brand to go buy because there was no brand on the listing. So obviously quality may vary, but I'm over the moon with these controllers. They feel really good in the hand. I kind of would have preferred if they used rechargeable AA batteries like all the Wiimotes and stuff, but they do have an integrated battery with the USB-C charger, which means that eventually, once this battery has had its life, I'm gonna have to find a replacement and all that, but huge problem. I just want to quickly add that I have found a flaw with these controllers, and that is with the triggers. Now, they do have full analog triggers like actual GameCube controllers, but the way that they do the digital press at the bottom of the trigger, when you bottom out and you have a nice little click, in an actual GameCube controller, there's a separate membrane pad and contact to make that digital press. But in this one, that's not there. There's no circuit there. So I assume that once the analog bit of the trigger passes, 0.95 or something, it outputs a digital signal, which not ideal. I found this out when I went in to cut the springs, so it would be easier to wave dash. And then I saw that and I was like, that might be a problem. If you want to play Smash with them, probably not a good pick. At least if you want to play like Project M or Melee, they'll be fine for Ultimate. Then, of course, I had to buy some Wiimotes as well. Is controversial one. I think Mario Party 8 is the best Mario Party by a very long shot. And so I have to round up my friends to bully them into playing it, obviously. So we got the standard Wiimote that came with the Wii from Cashies. Nothing too exciting. Then I got a third-party fuck-ass blue one because my brother liked this shade of blue. He got his DSi in the shade of blue, and we had one of these fuck-ass blue Wiimotes when we had our Wii as kids. I hate this blue. I think it is so ugly. I bought it for him. Then weird kind of textured print one. Won't show very well on camera, but it's just a variety of doodles. And when I saw it on Amazon, I didn't realize that the print was going to be textured. It's raised, and I really don't like that. But I do like the nunchuck that came with it. The two-tone black and white is pretty cool. And then the most important one, the final Wiimote, as it were, legally distinct sponge. Honestly, on Amazon, I'm pretty sure the listing had a different graphic for a generic character. It wasn't SpongeBob. So imagine my joy when I got this in the mail, opened it up, and I was like, I have a fucking SpongeBob Wiimote now with a matching SpongeBob nunchuck. That was a fun little addition to the collection of controllers. And then the last interesting thing that I bought to go with the controller collection is from 8BitDo. 8BitDo? I don't know. It's this Bluetooth to GameCube adapter that works with pretty much any Bluetooth controller, including my Switch Pro controller, which in general is just my preferred controller. Like I brought my Xbox controller sitting somewhere. I use that occasionally, mostly just on my PC because I can't be bothered syncing controllers to multiple devices and all that. And this also worked great. The little adapter is awesome. It is a little pricey. It was 45 Australian dollars. So the same price as both of those controllers. Ultimately, nice to be able to use a controller I've already got. Or, you know, if a friend brings over a PS5 controller or whatever, you can sync up with this. Don't know why you'd want to do that. That sounds awful, but you could. And another thing that I bought that is not part of the CRT setup, but is for the Wii, is I got the Hyperkin Wii to HDMI cable, because people recommended that over the cheaper, like $10 adapter that you can get. I understand why, because man, that adapter has some conversion hardware in there, right? There's like a block in the middle of the cable. It looks so good. Whatever upscaling shit it's doing, I can highly recommend it. It is definitely the best budget way to connect your Wii to a newer TV. Another thing that I should note is that the CRT did need a little bit of repair work to get it working fully. Like, it worked perfectly fine when I got it from the guy, other than this really high-pitched whining that was relatively subtle when he demoed it at his place. And then it was like a little bit more annoying when I first got it set up at mine. You know, maybe my place was just more quiet, so I could notice it more. When I moved it from the table to the cart, it got worse. So I'm not gonna demonstrate what to do here because I'm not an expert, but I'll link down below to one of the videos that I watched that I kind of followed as guidance. But some people are quite sensitive to just general electronics whine. This is not that, it's a different thing. No, so this is the transformer coil whine thing. Yeah, if you had like a graphics card with coil whine problems, it sounds very similar to that. Apparently, the age-old solution for like a lot of techs back in the 90s was kind of just put a toothpick under it. You find the transformer and yeah, it'll be one of the coils is just kind of misaligned, and that's what causes the whining from my understanding. So that's basically what I did. Originally the toothpick like helped a bit, but didn't fix it. And I found that just getting a zip tie and cause it's kind of like a column and then like another column that sits inside it, but then it comes out and around. But I zip tied it, that kept it in the right place, and it has not whined for a month and a half now. So that took a little bit of work. It's a little bit intimidating just when you see it and there's like, oh, there's so many parts in here. Once you actually know what you're looking at, it's not that bad. It's pretty relaxed. But obligatory messing with electronics is dangerous. Make sure I had gloves on. Just be careful. Anyway, that's been my little ramble about my CRT setup. I've been having a great time playing through a bunch of stuff. I've been playing through the Metroid Prime games. I'm currently halfway through-ish Metroid Prime 2, which I'm enjoying significantly less than the first game, even though I think it's a better game. It's a weird one. I think that's a separate video. As well as I've, for the first time, tried out Project M, which, for those of you who aren't familiar, is a mod for Super Smash Bros. Brawl that tweak is an understatement, revamps the game to play more like Melee, but with lots of quality of life stuff, and man, it's great. And also been playing Melee because I have a Wii now. I am legally required to